federal law requires states to take reasonable steps to clean up the rolls. And we found in places like California, they have more people on the rolls than actually live there. They've got over 100% of the voting age population on the rolls. That's a pretty good indication they're not taking reasonable steps to clean up the rolls. So we had federal lawsuits in Kentucky and in California. First in Kentucky, the Justice Department even saw that we were right and they intervened. And there was a consent decree where Kentucky agreed to take these key steps to clean up the rolls. And then in California, we had a settlement with LA County and the state of California where they agreed to take steps to clean up as many, it turns out, as they're going to clean up as many as 1.6 million inactive voters. These are people who haven't voted. And so they did massive mailings. They did massive mailings to these 1.6 million people. And we hope as a result of that there will be an immediate removal, but over the next few years these names will be pulled off the lists if they don't vote or otherwise respond. And then we hear just recently from Kentucky, they sent a mailing to 250,000 people, which in Kentucky that's like nearly 7% of their voter rolls. And why is all of this important? Because dirty voting rolls can mean dirty elections.
Absolutely.
And when you have a bunch of people on the rolls who are dead or moved away, that's a pool from which those who want to steal votes can draw. So we got to make sure the rolls are clean. And nationally, there's about 3.5 million extra names in the rolls as best we can tell. So when you're talking about in California, we're moving up to 1.6 million, and Kentucky to start another 250,000. Oh boy, we're well on the way to solving the problem, thanks to the activities, and this is incredible. And those of you out there who are supporting Judicial Watch, you should pat yourselves on the back. Thanks to Judicial Watch, yeah. Not to anyone else but Judicial Watch. We're cleaning up the election rolls, but it's only part of the piece in terms of what other things we need to do. We need to mandate voter ID. We need to make sure that we verify citizens are actually citizens when they register to vote. There's just tens of millions of aliens here in the country, and a percentage of them are registering to vote, and a percentage of them are voting based on studies and just evidence out there where people are finding caches of groups or groups of people who are aliens who have been voting both in Texas and Pennsylvania, for instance, just most recently. So these are big issues in terms of challenging our clean elections. You know, and yeah. Look, Bruce, we all vote, right? Some of us vote, but you see the election campaigns, the big primary fights in the Democratic Party, and you know we'll have the presidential election next year and Congress, all this money being spent. And we have fights here in Washington about which way policy should go. But if elections are stolen, then it's all a joke, because we're not engaging in self-government if our votes are stolen and our elections are stolen. So, I mean, this is a core issue, and if we can't get our elections right, then the republic in many ways falls.